Hello and a very warm welcome to the brand new edition of the Question Hour show from the Parliament House complex, where we bring you important unstarred questions that were asked by the members of the upper house during the ongoing budget session of Parliament. I'm Kriti Mishra, and joining me is my colleague Rajat. Kain.
Thanks Kriti, and thanks to our viewers for watching Question Hour. So Kriti, let's begin with the show.
And the first question in this edition is from member A. Vijay Kumar, and this question is to the Ministry of Finance. And Mr. Kumar has asked the government whether a number of ATMs do not have provisions to dispense rupees 2000 denomination notes, and also whether the government is planning to withdraw rupees 2000 currency notes from circulation.
For giving a precise answer, the Ministry of Finance said the Reserve Bank of India has apprised that following the introduction of new series of banknotes of denomination of rupees 500 and rupees 2000, RBI took initiatives to recalibrate ATMs across the country, and a task force with representative from the Government of India, banks and other stakeholders was constituted to steer the process. Expeditious recalibration of all ATMs were done by banks in a planned manner to ensure adequate availability of new design notes to public. And regarding question that whether government is intending to withdraw rupees 2000 currency note from circulation, the government replied that no such proposal is under consideration. Well, moving on to next question that was asked by member Vishambar Prasad Nishad from Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The member asked whether it's a fact that the research work undertaken at newly established AIIMS situated at Raipur, Bhopal, Patna, Rishikesh, Bhubaneswar and Jodhpur is negligible.
Well, the response given by the government is in negative. The government says that a total of 4,631 research projects by these 6 new AIIMS, namely AIIMS at Bhopal, Bhubaneswar, Jodhpur, Patna, Raipur and Rishikesh have been completed or in progress since the time these AIIMS have become functional. All these AIIMS are having facilities for state-of-the-art research, labs and also cater to both clinical and non-clinical research needs. Faculty members and students involved in these research activities contribute to research work on varied topics including the intramural and extramural research projects. A total number of 4,089 posts consisting of 305 faculty posts of various disciplines and also 3,776 non-faculty posts and 8 project cell posts have been created for each of these 6 functional AIIMS. The government also enumerates several steps taken to fill up these vacant posts, and the government says to facilitate the expeditious filling of vacancies, Standing Selection Commission has been constituted for each of these aforesaid 6 AIIMS. The upper age limit for direct recruitment against the posts of professor and additional professor in the 6 AIIMS has been raised from 50 years to 58 years. And also for filling up of the vacant faculty posts in the new AIIMS by taking up serving faculty from government medical colleges or institutions on deputation basis has also been allowed by the government. Moving on to the next question that has been asked by member Suresh Prabhu, and this question is to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. And Mr. Prabhu has asked the government about the steps taken to reduce the cost of compliance for the corporates.
For replying to the query, the ministry said the government and the Ministry of Corporate Affairs administers Companies Act, Limited Liability Partnership Act. The ministry has been taking steps on an ongoing basis by amending the Act and the rules and forms thereunder from time to time in the years 2015, 17 and 2019. To reduce the cost of compliance and for ease of doing business. Ministry of Corporate Affairs has increased requirement of paid-up capital from rupees 5 crore to rupees 10 crore for appointment of whole-time company secretary, wide companies appointment and remuneration of managerial personnel amendment rules 2020, and the registration fee for incorporation of companies with authorized capital of up to rupees 15 lakh has been reduced to 0 by Companies Incorporation Second Amendment Rules 2019. Answering further, the ministry said the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has reduced cost of compliance for small companies, which is defined under Section 2, Subsection 85 of Companies Act 2013, and for private companies, that is startup, for complying with various provisions of Companies Act, which are as under. A private company which is startup or small company are not required to include cash flow statement with financial statement, which otherwise is mandatory. A private company which is startup or small company, annual return shall be signed by the company secretary, or where there is no company secretary, by the director of the company. Well, the next question was asked by member Vijila Satyanath from Ministry of Ayurveda, Yoga, naturopathy, Unani, Siddha and homeopathy. The member asked whether it's a fact that government has asked government institutions and other corporate bodies to initiate a mandatory 30-minute yoga break for their employees. If so, what are the details?
Well, responding to this question, the government says that Ministry of Ayush has not asked the government institutions or the corporates to introduce a mandatory 30-minute break for yoga for their employees. However, the ministry has launched a 5-minute yoga break on trial basis from 13th of January 2020. And for this, it is a 5-minute exercise designed for the workplace to help professionals de-stress and also refresh and refocus in a working environment. It consists of few light practices that can be done by taking a 5-minute break. Now, the process of developing 5-minute yoga protocol was done by yoga experts, and now these include Dr. Ishwar, Director Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, Shri S. Sridharan, leading yoga expert and trustee, Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram, and Dr. Mukund Vinayak Ghole, consultant in yoga therapy and promoter of experimental yoga, Lokmanya Medical Research Center. And now let's move on to the next question that has been asked by member A.K. Selvaraj, and this question is to the Ministry of Earth Sciences. And Mr. Selvaraj has asked the government whether it is considering to establish automatic weather stations across the country to improve forecast accuracy.
Replying in affirmative, the ministry said the government proposed to set up more automatic weather stations and automatic rain gauges across the country, and details are 300 automatic weather stations and automatic rain gauges for Northeast, 100 automatic weather stations for Kerala, 200 automatic weather stations for replacement of existing obsolete weather stations across country, 530 automatic weather stations for district agriculture meteorological units for real-time monitoring of all agro and weather parameters, automatic weather stations network across Himalayan region for continuous monitoring of Himalayan weather, 200 automatic weather stations at Kendriya Vidyalayas across country, and dense network of automatic weather stations in each major city to improve urban meteorological services. Well, moving on to last question of this edition of the show that was asked by member CM Ramesh from Ministry of Tourism. The member asked whether the government has identified iconic tourist sites in the country and what are the details.
Responding very specifically to this question, the government says that Ministry of Tourism has identified 17 sites in the country for development as iconic tourist sites, namely Taj Mahal and Fatehpur Sikri in Uttar Pradesh, Ajanta and Ellora in Maharashtra, Humayun's Tomb, Red Fort and Qutub Minar in Delhi, Kolwa in Goa, Amer Fort in Rajasthan, Somnath and Dholavira in Gujarat, Khajuraho in Madhya Pradesh, Hampi in Karnataka, Mahabalipuram in Tamil Nadu, Kaziranga in Assam and also Mahabodhi Temple in Bihar. The government further says that the ministry shall be developing the above sites in a holistic manner with a focus on issues concerning connectivity to the destination, better facilities, experience for the tourists at the site, skill development, improvement of local community and also promotion and branding, and by bringing more private investment. Well, that's all Rajat and I had for you in this edition of Question Hour. But on the other side, Prashan Kal with our colleagues Arvind Singh and Kriti Singh. Please don't go anywhere.